Well, hello there, sports fan. Welcome to this week's edition of Welding and Wisdom Wednesday. Woo, it sure has been nice around here this week. Done kind of cooled off, getting back down in the 60s at night. Barely getting into the 90s in the daytime. I can tell you one thing, down here in the, as they call the Deep South, we appreciate that, because anytime from the 4th of July to on over in the last of August, even early part of September sometimes, it's hot. I mean, it's hot. So we're enjoying this week's break in this. And cause people, I'm gonna say from where I am further south, really understand what that is, because the humidity's up and all of that. But anyway, what I want to talk to you about this week is communications. Communication is not only somebody telling you something, but you responding back that you understand what they telling you. In this day and time, a lot of people converse by text. If somebody sends you a text says, you know, we're gonna have prayer meeting been moved up to 5:30 today. Okay. You need to send them back. Yes, okay, I got that. Especially if you got a part in it or there's something you're doing. People need to know that you understand what you're telling them, because that's feedback. That is part of communication. I tell you something, you confirm that back with me that, yeah, I understand, or, you know, I got this or whatever. If you don't understand something, don't be afraid to ask. What are you talking about? Because most likely, you ain't the only one. Because whoever's saying it wasn't exactly clear on their communications, like me a lot of times. I don't always give all of the information that I need for somebody to fully understand what I'm saying. So I need that feedback, which establishes communication, so I know, okay, well, I didn't tell you all of that, because later on I go to thinking, well, I done told him that, I don't know why he didn't do it or why he did it that way. Part of that was my fault. But I don't know that unless you tell me I didn't understand that. Or like if hey, I need you to build this right here, and you say, okay, and you walk off. Unless you've done it before, you don't know what type of material you need to make it out of, or anything else about it. Unless, like I said, unless you've done it before. So you need to question, okay, what you want me to make it out of? How big do you want it? How many of them do you need? When do you need it by? That's all part of establishing communication. Cause like I said, the person, I don't really want to say like issuing it or whatever, but initiating the conversation, let's say it that way. The person initiating the conversation is telling you what he wants done or they want done, or whichever way the case may be. But you need to establish communication back the other way to make sure that you understand what they're wanting, so you don't end up getting in trouble. You don't want to just keep on and say, well, I'm gonna do it this way now, I hope that's right. You know, that's gonna put you in a bind right there. You don't want to be in that band. So make sure you establish communication with them. You tell them, I did not understand what you're meaning, or I didn't understand what you wanted made out of. Because if you sat there and spend a day or so, you know, working on something, and then it's wrong, you got a problem. All because you didn't ask, well, what did you want that made out of? You know, there you go. By the time you find out, I mean, you neck deep off in this project right here and you done lost a lot of money. If you don't know how to do something, say, hey, I don't know how to do this. And then they'll help you with it. And then you can go ahead on about your business. But if you just keep meandering around there, they're gonna come up, what are you waiting on? What's taking you so long? Because you didn't tell them to start with. Well, I really didn't know how to go about doing this deal. Had a guy one time, it was getting close to his trial period. The word don't come to me right now about the, but it worked so long, you know, and then okay, you're either hired or you're not. And wasn't doing a real sporty job. But I kept thinking, well, okay, he needs to, you know, let me make sure that he knows what he's doing. So I gave him a project. This is what you've got to do. Do you understand how to do this? Yes. Be truthful now. He told me yes. I said, okay, this is your project. You do this. Now, you got to understand, now this is like your final test. You're either gonna pass or fail now. It was a piece of casing. He took that piece of casing and he clamped it down to a table. Then it had a stiffener on it, an angle iron stiffener, 3x3 by 3/16 or something like that. It's just boiler casing. The table he put it on had a hump in it. And instead of sitting there and thinking, well, this has got a hump in it, or asking somebody else, because there's guys down the line been building these things, ask them for a little help or something, he just kept sticking, no, I got this, I got this. So then he took the casing, clamped it down to the table with a hump in it. Then he clamped the angle iron down to it with a hump in it and welded it on there. And then when you pick a piece of casing up, it looked like that. And I asked him, I said, well, I sat there and I let him go. I said, well, okay, I'm gonna see what he's gonna do with this. I asked him a couple of times, you good with this? You need any help? No, sir, I'm fine. When it had the bow in it, in his mind, all he had to do, and this is where I stopped him at, he was gonna take an arc gouger and gouge out the back side of that thing and lay a weld bead in there and grind that back down so all that heat would straighten that thing back up. We didn't make it quite that far. But he was a pretty good old boy, but you know, there again, he was doing the job. He wouldn't ask anybody what he needed to do. And this was habitual. We was in Arkansas. I'm gonna tell you this, we was in Arkansas. He had to take some stuff. He wasn't working for us at this time, he was driving a truck. And he had to deliver some stuff to Columbus. He called in, he said, I cannot find this street in Columbus. They said, where are you right now? And he said, I'm on in such and such street in Columbus, Georgia. They said, Hoss, you supposed to be in Columbus, Mississippi. The guy didn't follow instructions, you know, right off the bat. He don't follow instructions and he don't communicate. Most likely lack of communications was one of his instruction following problems, because he wouldn't verify what he needed to know or needed to do or whatever, or just went on a lot of assumptions, and we all know what assumption is the mother of. But it's just stuff like that right there, and you just can't just keep on doing that. You got to find out what I need to do, how I need to do it. If you don't know, ask somebody establish communications back the other way, so everybody understands what you need to be doing. So anyway, that's kind of about where I was wanting to go with this. I want everybody to make sure that if you don't understand something, especially any younger people listening to this, folks ain't gonna think you stupid. I'd think a whole lot more of you if I say, hey Hoss, I need you to go do this right here, and you say, Mr. Red, I really don't know how to do that. Okay, now we got a teaching and a learning moment. I can go over there, we can show you how to do it, or I can put you with somebody so you'll know how to do that next time. Because me doing that is an investment in my future, because I've got somebody that is training and knowing how to do more, not just keep walking around there with a thumb in the ear trying to figure out what they're gonna do the rest of the day, or when they're gonna take another breath. I know that's being a little exaggerated there, but basically it's the same thing. You got to be able to talk to people and communicate to make sure that you're doing what you need to do and what is expected of you to do. Well, that's pretty much about it for today. I hope it's helped some of you. I hope I didn't confuse anybody or misspeak anything, and I hope I communicated my message clearly to you. Seeing how today it was on communication, I hope my communication of my word today or message today was good to you and you could understand it. Well, alrighty, that's gonna wrap up this edition. Y'all be watching out for episode 3 of that old Lincoln right yonder we working on, and I hope it's gonna be coming up Sunday. See where we're at with it. So anyway, y'all be careful, stay safe, go to church on Sunday. See you next time.